I was immersed in the dorm, honing my card-playing skills, when suddenly my vision went dark. A strange system warning abruptly appeared, alerting me. In this school, I must absolutely not offend this classmate, or 10 years from now, I deface eternal ruin. Looking closely, it was none other than the frail stick-thin Willow Smoke. Carrying this bizarre information, I fell asleep. Normally my greatest joy was heading to the cafeteria each day to devour food. My classmates always called me Fat Pig, and far from being angry, I'd laugh along with them. That's right, my dad was famous in Everlasting City for his pig breeding prowess. At noon, I was in the cafeteria wolfing down Dragon River braised pork rice, when suddenly, a head was shoved straight into my bowl of rice. It was Willow Smoke. I was utterly stunned. The room erupted in a piercing chorus of mocking laughter. So poor you're eating pig slop so eagerly, huh? Willow Smoke slowly raised her head. The look in her eyes made me shiver. I suddenly recalled the strange warning from last night. So scared I let out a loud fart, thinking to myself, what injustice. I hadn't even finished my meal, and now this unwarranted calamity. Looking at the frail Willow Smoke, as if a gust of wind could knock her over, the strange warning flashed again, starting to recount her tragic future. I keenly grasped the key information. As long as I could cure her anorexia, I could change this terrifying fate. I immediately grabbed my phone and called home. Mom, take the order. There's a skinny pig here, 5'7", only 50 kilos. She needs to gain weight. From the other end came my mom's disdainful voice. Son, this pig of yours is awfully lanky, huh? Only then did I realize my slip of the tongue. I hurriedly explained, Mom, you misheard. Not a pig. A poor classmate at my school. So skinny you can see her ribs. My mom suddenly got excited. Ribs make for fragrant stew. Braised style is delicious too. I stomped my foot in frustration. Only then did Mom react. Oh, it's so noisy over there. Did I mishear breeding pigs? Not raising a classmate right. Leave it to me. I'll make sure she reaches 200 kilos in glory. Hanging up, I wiped my sweat relieved. With my mom, the master pig breeder, taking charge. Willow Smoke's anorexia was sure to be cured. That way I'd escape the disaster 10 years from now. I rushed after Willow Smoke, finally catching her by the sports field. Classmate, want to come to my place for a meal? I asked, panting. Willow Smoke slowly turned around. Her uniform was still stained with soup from my lunchbox. Those eyes, dark and cold, stared at me. Her lips curled into a mocking smile. What's this, another new trick? I waved my hands frantically. You've got it wrong. And not with them. I just think you're too skinny. Seeing her about to leave, I chased after her. My family's food is amazing. Don't believe me? Smell the food on your clothes. Willow Smoke, half doubting, tugged at her uniform and sniffed. Her brows furrowed slightly. So, smells good, right? That's my mom's special braised pig intestine. Before I could finish, Willow Smoke suddenly rushed to the wall, vomiting violently. I stood there dumbfounded. This delicious braised pig intestine, and it made her throw up like that. I hurriedly offered a tissue, trying to ease the awkwardness. Actually, it's not pig intestine, it's pig head meat. To my surprise, that made her vomit even more. Her whole body trembled. I panicked and corrected myself. Okay, it's actually pig heart soup. This time Willow Smoke didn't vomit, because she fainted outright. I was about to help her up, when a few lines of comments flashed before my eyes. Oh my god, is this side character trying to turn the heroine Japanese? The heroine looks like she's still breathing, but she's practically on her last breath. On purpose, right? He clearly knows the heroine hates pigs the most. New form of school bullying. They use fists, he uses his mouth. My eyes reddened with frustration. I grabbed my phone and called my mom, venting. After hanging up, I noticed Willow Smoke still lying unconscious on the ground. As I prepared to help her up, a hesitant female classmate approached to assist. Before she could speak, I expertly hoisted Willow Smoke onto my shoulder, instinctively lifting her up and down light as a feather. Roughly 100 kilos, round square. How are you so strong? The classmate asked in amazement. I scratched my head awkwardly. I practiced carrying piglets as a kid. After saying that, I hurriedly took Willow Smoke to the school infirmary, asking the doctor to change her into clean clothes. All expenses were charged to my mom's secondary black card. After the checkup, the doctor said gravely, "This classmate is severely malnourished. If this continues, it's very dangerous. I nodded vigorously in agreement. How about issuing her a medical leave note? He'll take her home to recover. As the doctor prepared to write the note, Willow Smoke suddenly woke up. No need, she firmly refused. Reaching to pull out the 4-needle, I quickly grabbed her hand. Willow Smoke, you really need to recover right now. How about this, you come home with me? He'll cover food and lodging, and pay you a monthly salary. Like hiring a tutor, the doctor warned cautiously. Round square. Human trafficking and scams are illegal. I stomped my foot in frustration. It's not a scam. I'm serious. Willow Smoke sneered. You rich folks can't live without humiliating others with money, huh? I may be poor, but I don't need your charity. Seeing her lift the blanket to leave, in a panic, I used a trick my mom taught me. I casually tossed a bank card onto her blanket. There's 100,000 in here. Come eat one meal with me, and it's yours. Willow Smoke's movements clearly paused. I pulled out another card and tossed it over. This one's 500,000. The doctor's eyes lit up. Round square. Does your family need a doctor? I cut him off decisively. No need. The doctor sighed regretfully. As I reached for a third card, Willow Smoke quietly picked up the first one. She lowered her head, her voice so soft it was almost inaudible. Are you serious? I immediately patted my chest. Of course. When Willow Smoke looked up, those dark eyes finally flickered with a faint spark. Then we need to sign a contract, she said softly. I nodded eagerly. No problem. But the comments exploded again. This side character dares to bribe the heroine with money. The heroine gave in too easily. You guys don't get it. Her mom passed away, her dad left, and her grandpa is seriously ill in the hospital. She really needs the money. If a black card could buy me, I'd be sitting in the back of a Rolls Royce too. After signing the contract, Willow Smoke's gaze grew more complex. She gave a self-mocking smile, then suddenly grabbed my hand and pressed it to her face. I've taken your money. Now you can hit me as you please. Her collar was slightly loose, revealing a horrific scar below her collarbone. I yanked my hand back as if shocked, shaking my head frantically. No, no, no. Never do that. Willow Smoke looked at me skeptically. Then why spend so much money? Got an even crueler trick up your sleeve? Her words made my heart tremble. What had she been through to think like this? I genuinely want to hire you as a tutor. I took a deep breath, extending my hand earnestly. Let's start over. Round square. Round as in circle, square as in box. Willow Smoke hesitated, touching my fingertips. Willow Smoke. As soon as I brought Willow Smoke home, my mom stormed back full of energy. This is the little classmate, right? She enthusiastically slapped Willow Smoke's shoulder, nearly knocking the frail girl out. I hurriedly rubbed her back and poured water, yelling, Mom, go easy. Willow Smoke clutched her chest, coughing violently. Her eyes showed genuine shock for the first time. Probably never seen such a forceful parent. I quickly reassured her. My mom's just heavy-handed, absolutely no malice. But my heart was pounding. If this future assassin added my mom to her death list, our family's pig-breeding empire would be doomed. Willow Smoke coughed until her face was red, but still waved it off, saying it was fine. My mom seized the chance to pull me into the kitchen, whispering excitedly, you little rascal. First time bringing a classmate home. And it's a girl. She winked at me. Could it be? I nodded firmly. That's right, Mom, I like her. We have to fatten her up, all plump and fair. My mom instantly perked up, saluting like a soldier. Mission guaranteed. When it came to breeding, my mom was an expert. Back in the village pig farm, every pig she raised was plump. The lightest was 300 kilos. They called her Pig Queen. Later, our family accidentally raised some red pheasants, thinking they were just regular chickens. By the time experts came, my mom had raised an entire yard of rare species. Now our family runs dozens of zoos across the country. Anything that passes through my mom's hands gets raised like it's conquering the planet. A malnourished Willow Smoke, in my mom's eyes, probably easier than raising a hamster. Watching my mom roll up her sleeves, I suddenly felt full of hope for Willow Smoke's future, though I wasn't sure if she could handle this overwhelming love. Willow Smoke stubbornly believed that since she took the money, she had to work seriously. Right after dinner, she spread out books to tutor me. While she wasn't looking, I hid all the exercise books. When she turned back, the table was empty. My family's dining table is sacred. No place for such mundane things. I made up a ridiculous excuse. Willow Smoke looked at me, like I was a lab specimen, probably wondering if my brain worked differently. Before she could react, my mom barged in with 2 huge steel basins, cheerfully placing LUONG shrimp and golden braised shark fin on the table. She winked at Willow Smoke. Round Square said you don't eat pork, so tonight it's a no-meat feast. Willow Smoke stared at the 2 basins of food, her voice trembling. This is too much. Before she could calm down, our family's chef team marched in, banging basins in rhythm. Peking duck, Buddha jumps over the wall, whole roasted lamb, a parade of delicacies like soldiers on display. Willow Smoke stiffly turned her head, her usually cold eyes now wide open. I shrugged at her, thinking this is just the start. There's more surprises waiting at our family farm. I smugly waved a worksheet. See, I told you study materials don't belong on this table. Willow Smoke frowned, clearly overwhelmed by the spectacle. The comments rolled in with mockery. This idiot thinks food can cure anorexia. Only the hero can heal the heroine. I jumped up, interrupting Willow Smoke. Hold on. Turning to my mom, I said firmly, change the dishes. 10 minutes later, the table turned into a vegetable market. Some dishes still had fresh dirt on them. I politely handed her chopsticks. Classmate, pick whatever you like, thinking to myself, our farm has every fresh vegetable imaginable. But Willow Smoke only picked a few bites. My mom and I ended up gnawing on veggies all night. Meanwhile, the chefs had devoured the meat dishes, Wed swapped out, watching her swallow tiny bites. With a pained expression, I followed her nervously, fearing she'd throw up those veggies. As she was about to leave, Willow Smoke suddenly called me back. Her fingers twisted the hem of her uniform into creases. Did you mean it when you said you liked me before? I froze on the spot. Heaven knows, I never expected that offhand comment would stick with her until now. I stood there awkwardly, sweat beading on my forehead, like a failing student called to recite a lesson. The situation turned painfully awkward. A flurry of thoughts raced through my mind. If this turned into puppy love, what would I do? Just then, a comment popped up as a reminder. Side character, don't get full of yourself. You're not the hero. Those words were like a bucket of cold water snapping me awake. But then another comment said, but the heroine really needs someone to care for her now. I looked up at Willow Smoke, trying to read something in her eyes. Those eyes held a complex mix of emotions, doubt, expectation, and even a faint hidden longing. That's right, I've liked you since the first time we met. I mustered all my courage and shouted. Unexpectedly, this enraged Willow Smoke. Her expression changed, and she coldly spat out 2 words, liar. She turned to leave. The comments exploded. Haha, this idiot. The first time they met, the heroine was shoved face first into a bowl of rice to be bullied. Only then did I remember that disastrous first meeting. Willow Smoke covered in rice and soup. How could she believe someone fell for her at first sight? Seeing the wall she instantly built up, I knew I'd messed up again. The next morning in the hallway, I ran into Willow Smoke. Before I could speak, a bucket of dirty water was splashed on her. Her freshly washed uniform instantly reeked. The air filled with piercing, mocking laughter. Get out, you slum rat. A few girls shouted, holding their noses. What chilled me more was that the teacher who rushed over didn't defend her, but scolded Willow Smoke. What do you think this school is? Go home and change. Willow Smoke stood like a statue, her long lashes hiding her eyes. Only when the bell rang for class did she drag her heavy steps away. The hallway quickly returned to cheerful chatter, as if the bullying never happened. I chased after her, grabbing her wrist. Let's go back and get revenge. Willow Smoke gently freed her hand, her voice eerily calm. It's fine. I'm used to it. The comments erupted with pity. Oh my God, the heroine's life is so hard. She relies on a scholarship to study here. No wonder she takes revenge on them later. I stubbornly followed Willow Smoke to the school gate, watching her stop at a small shop. The owner was handling a pile of overnight offal. Willow Smoke pulled out a crumpled Favion note. Buying a box. The smell alone sent her retching by the trash can, her thin shoulders trembling uncontrollably. You don't have to, I started, but stopped. Willow Smoke wiped her mouth, saying softly, my grandpa needs nutrition. This is all I can afford. Her fingers gripped the plastic bag until her knuckles turned white, yet she carefully cradled the box of offal. I followed her carrying a duck ID just bought. She refused to let me into her home. As we argued, I saw her grandpa sitting downstairs basking in the sun. The frail old man waved at me. We sat on a bench and talked. He shakily told me, Willow Smoke grew up surrounded by violence. Her mother was abusive. Her father couldn't take it and left. Her stepfather was even crueler, forcing her to eat raw pig offal every day, just to save cooking costs. The child couldn't bear it, and came to live with me, this old man. He wiped his tears. Just then muffled retching came from upstairs. The old man's hands trembled harder. Now Ion throws up at the smell of meat. What can we do? I gripped his calloused hand, looking at the hunched old man, and solemnly promised, don't worry, sir. I'll find a way to help Willow Smoke eat normally again. Looking up at the window where the retching came from, I silently vowed to cure her anorexia. The next morning, at the classroom door, I heard a commotion inside. The class beauty held up a string of smelly pig offal, yelling accusations at the class. When she grabbed Willow Smoke's collar, everyone held their breath. Unexpectedly, Willow Smoke didn't back down, but gave a strange smile. She calmly picked up a pencil sharpening knife, held it to her throat, and said lightly, as if commenting on the weather, touch me again and I'll die right here. The entire class froze. The beauty's face turned pale, letting go. After all, rich kids fear getting tied to a murder case the most. Willow Smoke, knife in hand, walked out of the class under everyone's terrified gazes, heading straight to the rooftop. When I caught up, her fragile figure was standing at the edge of the rooftop. The wind whipped her uniform. Sit down, I screamed, voice hoarse. Willow Smoke, don't jump. She slowly turned, her eyes empty, asking, give me a reason not to jump. Because I like you, I blurted out. Willow Smoke sneered, liar. The moment she turned, I lunged, grabbing her sleeve. We actually met half a year ago. My words hit pause on her body. She turned, disbelief in her eyes. I seized the chance to recount the forgotten meeting. Half a year ago, when I transferred to this elite school. To fit in, my mom gave me a stack of black cards. Making friends was like raising pigs. Throw money and it's done. So I treating the whole school to the fanciest restaurant. Everyone cheered, except the girl in the corner, always staring out the window. Amid the noisy crowd, the moment Willow Smoke looked at me, I knew this girl who didn't follow the crowd was like me. After hearing me, Willow Smoke's lips curled into a mocking smile alike. You, a rich kid born with a silver spoon. Like me, a poor scholarship kid. I didn't rush to argue, but slowly rolled up my sleeve, revealing crisscrossing white scars on my arm, twisted marks like cracks on a map, recording a skin once stretched to its limit. When I was young, my mom was busy raising pigs, so she sent me to my uncle. I said softly, he found that feeding me made me obedient, so he kept stuffing me until my stomach couldn't take it. Willow Smoke's eyes flickered, her fingers instinctively curling. Then I became the fattest kid in class. I continued, they'd jump on my back when I bent over, carve fat pig on my desk, dump chalk dust in my water cup. I looked straight into her eyes. Smoke, we're the same kind. I've just climbed out of the abyss, while you're still struggling in it. She suddenly crouched down, her fingers lightly touching the scars, as if confirming they were real. I grasped her bony hand, feeling the coldness of her palm. Trust me, I'll help you. Really? Her voice was faint, almost inaudible. Really? I nodded, believe me this time. She was silent for a long time, finally whispering, just this once. Those 3 simple words were like fragile glass. I carefully caught her, just this once. After pulling her back from the rooftop's edge, I suddenly struck an exaggerated pose, muttering, mommy, mommy who? May the 50 kilos I lost be gifted to Willow Smoke. Willow Smoke froze, then burst out laughing. So you're trying to sabotage me? How's that sabotage? I shook my head earnestly. This is a donation of love. Look at you, so skinny. A gust could blow you away. You need nourishment. Finally, she couldn't hold back, lightly punching me. The sunlight hit her face, and for the first time I saw warmth in her eyes. We walked slowly down the hallway, trading playful jabs. I've got some meat. Willow Smoke pinched her slender arm. I sighed dramatically. That bit of meat wouldn't fill a tooth gap. Honestly, standing next to you makes me insecure. I look like a gas tank. She couldn't help laughing. You're not a gas tank. In the clothes rack they talk about. So gas tank or clothes rack, which is better? Willow Smoke tilted her head, thinking gas tank. At least it's warm to hug in winter. At the school gate, I mustered my courage to ask her, "Can you promise to eat properly from now on?" She nodded slightly, but I still wasn't reassured. Suddenly reaching to grab her wrist, my thumb and index finger easily met. Her wrist was so thin it ached my heart. "Let's set a small goal," I said with a smile. "Eat until your wrist is as thick as mine." Willow Smoke hesitated, then reached to measure my wrist. Her fingers barely circled it, and she closed her eyes as if making a big decision. "Okay, I'll try." She suddenly added, "Actually earlier, I wasn't going to jump, just wanted to see the view." I stomped my foot in frustration. She'd already run off, her silhouette looking lighter than when she arrived. Willow Smoke, from childhood a genius in everyone's eyes, a girl who learned everything like the wind, but now, she was like a child first learning to hold chopsticks, clumsily trying, the most basic survival skill. In the cafeteria, we sat across from each other. Her hand holding chopsticks trembled slightly, a piece of stir-fried bok choy nearly falling off. I held my breath, watching her struggle to swallow 3 bites of rice. Just as I sighed in relief, her face suddenly turned pale, and she rushed to the trash can, clutching her mouth. When she returned, her whole body was shaking, but she stubbornly turned her back and waved at me. Touched, I understood her pride. I quietly checked her plate of vegetables. The stir-fried bok choy glistened with oil. Sniffing closely, it reeked of pork fat. Looking around, the other dishes were even greasier, making me wince. "I'm sorry I was too hasty," I said, bowing my head in regret. My ears rang with mocking jeers. Side character, don't dream of saving the heroine. Go find your sidekick. Those words stabbed like needles. Why should I be bound by some script? If pushed to the edge, I'd dare to steal the hero's role. Willow Smoke saw my dark expression. Biting her lip in panic, I should be the one apologizing. "Round square, don't be mad. I'll eat again right now." Her trembling hand reached for the chopsticks, but before they touched her lips, her body instinctively "Stop!" I snatched the chopsticks away. Looking at her redrimmed eyes and pale face, I suddenly realized, this battle was far harder than I'd imagined. I grabbed the chopsticks from her hand, quickly pouring a glass of warm water. Willow Smoke sipped it slowly, her face still terrifyingly pale. When she finally exhaled, her shoulders slumped like a deflated balloon. "Round square." Her voice was as faint as a mosquito's hum. "Did I disappoint you? I can't even do something this simple." Without a word, I reached out and lifted her face buried in her chest. Her skin was icy, her lashes still wet with unshed tears. "Listen." I looked into her eyes, each word clear. "This isn't your fault. You're the heroine. How could you be wrong?" The heroine. Willow Smoke blinked in confusion. At that moment, I felt the air vibrate, as if the invisible audience exploded. "It's over, it's over. How does this side character know? If the script leaks, the whole story has to reset." I quickly backtracked. "I mean, everyone's the hero of their own life. You're the heroine, Willow Smoke. In the hero round square." "Got it." Willow Smoke nodded, half understanding. I silently praised myself. This was a successful pairing of hero and heroine. Let's see what those comments brag about now. The next noon, I excitedly ran to the next class to find Willow Smoke for lunch. At the back door, I saw a crowd forming a circle. Amid the noise, mocking laughter rang out. "Isn't that our genius, Willow Smoke? Heard she's been cozy with Round Square," from the other class. A girl with a ponytail sneered, pushing Willow Smoke. Willow Smoke stood straight, her lips pressed into a line, her resolute eyes fixed on the ground. "Heard Round Square used to be fat as a pig," another girl chimed in. The crowd erupted in laughter. "Hayes, not much better now." Before she could finish, Willow Smoke threw a perfect right hook, landing squarely on the girl's face. I even heard the fist hit her cheekbone. The comments exploded. "The heroine's gone crazy. She takes insults to herself without fighting back, but insults the side character and she swings. Is she protecting her food source?" That punch was epic. I didn't have time to think. Rushing forward to grab Willow Smoke from behind, she was trembling, her fists still clenched. "Don't act rashly," I whispered in her ear. "You'll get discipline." Too late. The beaten girl, Leaf Spirit, held her face, her eyes full of resentment. "Willow Smoke, you're done for." Before she could finish, I threw a left hook, hitting the other side of her face. Leaf Spirit staggered back, her cheeks swelling like a perfectly risen bun. Round square, she glared incredulous. I suddenly burst into tears, crying harder than Leaf Spirit. This trick I learned from my mom. The one who strikes first must cry more pitifully than the one hit. Sobbing, I wiped my tears, voice choked like a wronged child. It's all your fault, Leaf Spirit. You made me become someone I hate. Leaf Spirit froze. Willow Smoke was stunned. The surrounding students' faces went blank. My crying grew more tragic. Leaf Spirit awkwardly tried to comfort me. Round square, don't cry. Your punches weren't even that hard. Before she could finish, I threw an uppercut, hitting her nose dead in. Leaf Spirit clutched her bleeding nose, staring at me in shock. I was still teary, but my voice was utterly sincere. If you're still mad, take it all out on me. If that's not enough, I can take a kick to... The hallway fell deathly silent, until Leaf Spirit let out a heart-wrenching scream. Round square, we're not done. Her shout rattled the windows. Even the school gate guards probably heard it. Willow Smoke finally snapped out of it. Lightly tugging my sleeve, I turned and winked at her, casually wiping the blood from my hand onto Leaf Spirit's uniform. Leaf Spirit trembled with rage, but didn't dare charge at me. Thanks to my diversion tactic, I shifted all of Leaf Spirit's anger onto me, keeping Willow Smoke safe. But the disciplinary office soon called my mom in. The office door opened and closed. My mom came out face grim. I followed, neck shrinking, not daring to breathe loudly. Near the school gate, Mom suddenly turned and smacked my forehead. You little punk, she growled under her breath. Didn't I teach you? Strike with strategy. If you can ambush, don't go hidden. I rubbed my red forehead, whining. She was facing me. Next time, I'll circle behind. Mom glared at me, exasperated, like iron refusing to become steel. On the way home, I couldn't help asking quietly, Mom, how much do we have to pay this time? That Leaf girl's family is pricey. Mom counted on her fingers to punches. 50,000 each. 1 million total. I stomped my foot, fuming. What a loss. Should put all my strength in the first punch. Mom suddenly burst out laughing, patting my shoulder. Silly kid. Leaving room for improvement isn't bad. I asked worriedly. Mom, am I bankrupting us? Your dozens of rare animal reserves. Mom raised her chin smugly. Just signed a deal with Africa, specializing in saving rare species. Save one, get a reward. Hearing that, I finally relaxed. The next day I took the new bank card Mom gave me, dragging Willow Smoke to confront Leaf Spirit, wrapped in bandages. Willow Smoke. I waved the card, asking, know how much one punch on Leaf Spirit costs? This card has 5 million. How many punches can we get? Willow Smoke stared at the trembling Leaf Spirit, saying coldly, 15 punches. Leaf Spirit screamed, backing away. You're not the math genius. How's that math? Willow Smoke smirked. Where we poor folks come from. Buy one get half free, that's common sense. This wave of school bullying ended dramatically like that. When the gentle lamb learns to fight back with its horns, the school's ecosystem begins to rearrange. Classmates whispered that Willow Smoke had found a backer. Honestly, being someone's umbrella felt pretty great. While waiting for Mom outside the disciplinary office, I noticed Willow Smoke standing not far away. Her stubborn eyes were full of self-blame. I knew she'd rather bear everything herself. Then she couldn't hold back, asking me, why go so far for me? I grinned foolishly, on purpose, because I like you. That textbook answer, sure enough, sent her running off in a panic. But that's fine. She'd never like someone like me anyway. My biggest headache now was her anorexia. After observing for a while, I found she could only stomach a few bites at my house. To make up for my neglected childhood, Mom had spent years perfecting her cooking. Her dishes unexpectedly suited Willow Smoke's taste. That day I was spacing out in the cafeteria, when a familiar voice rang out, son, what do you want to eat today? I snapped my head up, nearly falling off my chair. Mom was wearing a chef's hat, standing behind the serving counter. I lowered my voice, shocked. Mom, aren't you in Africa running a farm? Mom quickly shushed me, winking mysteriously quiet. Don't blow my cover. This school finally doesn't bully you, I whispered, wide-eyed. Why are you here? Didn't you come home moping lately? Mom pinched my cheek, distressed. Auntie Wong at home said you're worried about your little classmate who can't eat. Mom suddenly exclaimed, oh my God, my son's gotten so skinny. I pushed her hand away, deadpan. I'm 50 hot pot meals away from skinny. Don't worry, son. Mom patted her chest confidently. I've raised animals for years. Never had one that didn't get fat. Just then, a soft voice spoke beside us. Hello, Auntie. We both turned to see Willow Smoke holding a tray. Like a startled fawn, Mom instantly switched to gentle mode, her face changing speed faster than Sichuan opera. With Mom as the cafeteria server, life was pure bliss. Everyone got standard portions, but my tray was piled like a mountain. A curious classmate asked round square, "Which counter did you hit? How'd you get so much?" I replied seriously, "The Mom's love counter." They searched the cafeteria, but couldn't find that mystery counter. Thanks to Mom's special care, Willow Smoke's anorexia really improved. At noon she ate with me at the Mom's love counter. At night she often came to our house for dinner. In just half a month, this girl gained 5 kilos. She could even eat a few bites of meat, which she wouldn't touch before. The comments went wild. Oh my god, is this side character defying fate? He has a proper name, Round Square. If Round Square cures the heroine, what's the hero Moon Zhao supposed to do? Do whatever. To me, Willow Smoke was just a classmate who needed help. When she fully recovers, if she's generous enough to spare me, he'll step back and leave the stage to her and her destined hero. Willow Smoke's voice pulled me from my wandering thoughts. She shook her head helplessly as my tutor. You're spacing out again. Where's the question I just asked? I hurriedly flipped through the paper, multiple choice or fill in. But when I looked up, Willow Smoke was staring at me, not pointing out the question. As I grew confused, I noticed her cheeks flush. She stammered, want to come to my place for dinner? I cook pretty well. My grandpa always praises my skills. Seeing me freeze without answering, she quickly added, it's fine if you don't want to. If you're worried about fresh ingredients, I can save up to buy from the imported supermarket. I'll sterilize the utensils thoroughly, or I'll get a new set for you. Watching her fluster, I couldn't help grabbing her wrist, but she kept talking. Willow Smoke, I called loudly again. This time she fell silent, her chest still heaving heavily. I lifted her wrist excitedly. Look, your anorexia is really getting better. To celebrate this great news, let's see your cooking skills. No need for fancy ingredients or new utensils. I shook my head, smiling. As long as it's your cooking, I'll lick the plate clean. Willow Smoke's throat moved a few times, and she nodded firmly, her eyes sparkling with tiny lights. Finally the day came to eat at Willow Smoke's house. As soon as the dismissal bell rang, I rushed to her class, but was told she didn't come that afternoon. My heart leaped to my throat, fearing something had happened. But at the school gate, I saw her quietly waiting for me. She had changed into a faded white dress and dark pants, simple but refreshingly vibrant. The sunlight dappled her, and the soap scent on her clothes was oddly pleasant. Blushing, she pulled out a small bouquet of wildflowers from behind her. Picked these on the way. I held back a laugh, not exposing the florist's label, still clearly visible. At her house, I saw she had not only cleaned it, spotless, but had prepared a full meal, 4 dishes and a soup neatly arranged on the table. Willow Smoke nervously rubbed her hands, as if I were the host. Round Square, sit. She pointed to a cushioned chair. We ate the entire meal clean, not a drop of soup left. As I rubbed my round belly, she suddenly handed me a familiar bank card. I spent 20,000 on medicine for my grandpa. Consider it a loan from you. Her voice was soft but firm. I'll work in college to pay you back. I was stunned. But isn't this your tutor's salary? Unexpectedly, the usually gentle Willow Smoke turned resolute, stuffing the card into my hand, her small hands tightly clasping mine. I don't want to be your employee. Then what do you want to be? I asked, winking. She answered with the faint scent of soap, and a silhouette suddenly drawing near. On the day the college entrance exam results were announced, Willow Smoke unsurprisingly topped the school, ranking in the top 10 province, and me, the academic underdog, got into the country's top agricultural university, majoring in animal husbandry. My mom was so thrilled. She hung a banner across the African savannah. Congratulations to young Master Round Square on his academic success. The giant words stood out. When recruiters from top universities came to snatch talent, even the arrogant rich kids couldn't help stealing glances. Willow Smoke heated said, family wealth comes from parents, but top 10 in the province is real skill. The comments buzzed. Amazing. She'll definitely meet her destined hero in college. But looking at this, Willow Smoke's heart's already been stolen. Don't you see her balcony is full of hibiscus flowers? It's over Hero Moonjao's falling for someone else too. This plot's about to collapse. Before the comments could finish arguing, the livestream room was locked for violations. I was secretly glad for the quiet. When Willow Smoke appeared before me, her slender figure looked like it could blow away. Round square, she blushed, stammering. I teased, "What's up, my poor classmate?" Willow Smoke took a deep breath. Suddenly looking up, "I like you. Do you want to be with me?" The sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting patterns of light and shadow on her face. I watched her lashes tremble with nerves, and nodded gently. "Yeah, I do." Loving Willow Smoke felt like fate. For the past 6 months, she tutored me daily, like puzzle pieces, slowly fitting into each other's shapes. But honestly, what moved me most was her transformation after recovery. Her once gaunt frame now tall and graceful, her pale cheeks gradually rosy, like she stepped out of a novel. Whenever someone mocked her brilliance, she'd nod earnestly. Round Square's family food is truly special. Those sparkling eyes made even her mockers blush. Though college split us into 2 cities, our bond deepened through every video call. I never feared the so-called hero, because Willow Smoke met him on enrollment day. Funnily enough, both already had someone in their hearts. Willow Smoke now was no longer the girl who needed saving. She stood in the sunlight, smiling radiantly, and I held her hand. Our story was about to open a new chapter. The end.